What's going on YouTube? Welcome to Samba Soda, your home for pop culture reviews. Today we're going to be doing a quick review of the new Maverick Sabre album, Burn the Right Things Down, since I couldn't find anything online. For those of you that don't know about Maverick Sabre, this is his fifth album. He's been around since the 2010s, had a few top 20 hits back in the day. I think one of the biggest ones was called Let Me Go. In terms of recent times, he had a hit with Georgia Smith called Slow Down. You might be familiar with that one as well. Maverick Sabre is a soul singer. He comes from, well, he was born in Hackney, which is actually my hometown. But at a very young age, he moved to Ireland, and he was basically brought up there, and then he came back to London and started his career. So let's get into it. So I'd say Burn the Right Things Down. It kind of continues Maverick Sabre's kind of process of basically creating modern soul and R&B, essentially. So it has an old school feel, but a new school sound, basically. I would say that my favorite tracks are kind of like the first few tracks, so like the first 4 or 5 tracks are probably my favorite in the whole album. So that includes the intro, Heaven. It's a very kind of funky intro. It's very urgent as well. And then the next track is Rose's Ether, which is probably my favorite track on the whole album. So again, that's a very kind of funky feel. And again, urgent, even more urgent than the intro. I would say it kind of reminds me of Salt, if you know those guys. So they're kind of alternative R&B collective. So yeah, that kind of reminds me of that. And then we also have You Don't Even Need It, which kind of gives me like an alternative R&B feel. Kind of reminds me kind of like of Steve Lacy, The Internet, maybe even like an NERD kind of feel, just in terms of the instrumental. So yeah, I was really feeling that one. And yeah, so most of those singles as well, or those songs are actually singles as well. So it seems like Maverick Sabre agrees that those are the strongest tracks on the album. In terms of what I don't like about the album, I would say it's maybe a little bit long. It's basically a 2-disc. It's a double disc. How many songs there are on here. And I would say that maybe the pace kind of gets a little bit slow in the middle, like the songs become a little bit less urgent. So my one kind of small criticism would be that maybe the pacing of the tracks could be changed, maybe the arrangements of the tracks could be changed. But yeah, other than that, it's a really strong album. I really like this album. I feel like even when it did get a little bit slower, you are still left with Maverick Sabre's voice, which is pretty much always his strongest weapon in his arsenal, basically. The guy has an amazing voice, and so no matter what kind of song he's on, there's always that. So yeah, I like the album. All in all, this is something that I'll definitely be listening to again. I did kind of like the kind of jam session feel of the whole thing. So yeah, I don't really like to give ratings, but that's just something that YouTube likes. So if I did, I would give this an 8 out of 10.